Last class we were discussing about the peninsular plateau and the important ranges of peninsular plateau. Today we are going to discuss about the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. What type of question will be there in annual examination? The question will be, what is the difference between the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats? Don't forget, whenever you are writing the differences, you should prepare a chart in annual examination. That is like this: one side the Western Ghats and the one side the Eastern Ghats. This type that chart should be written. Then you can get maximum marks in this. And every year there is an expected question on what is the difference between Eastern and Western Ghats, what is the difference between the Eastern coastal area and the Western coastal area. That is expected questions in annual examination. Let us study now first the Western Ghats. This Western Ghats is continuous, running parallel to the west coast. This is continuous. It is from Tapi river to Kanyakumari. Here Tapi river is here, Tapi, and here Kanyakumari. It is up to Tapi river to Kanyakumari. This Western Ghats is also known as Sahyadris. They are very steep on the western side and smooth on the eastern side. In eastern side they are very smooth and western side they are very steep. Here there are important passes are there. Those important passes are Borgat, Thalgat and Palgat. These are the important passes of the Western Ghats. Apart from this, here there are number of hill stations are there, famous hill stations. Among those, the Annamalai, the Palani and the Cardamom. These are the important hills of Western Ghats. Annaimudi is the highest peak in South India. Annaimudi is here. This is highest peak in South India. This Annaimudi is situated in Nilgiri Hills. Its height is about 2695 meters. This is the highest peak in southern part of India. This is what we studied about important hills, passes and the highest peak of Western Ghats. Now we are going to discuss about the Eastern Ghats. It runs almost parallel to the east coast. It extends from Mahanadi Valley in the north towards the Nilgiri Hills in the south. This is Nilgiri Hill. Both Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats will meet in Nilgiri Hill. And from Mahanadi to this Nilgiri Hill, this Eastern Ghats extend. Compared to Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats are not continuous, but Western Ghats are continuous. You can look at this map where easily you can understand. This is continuous, but this Eastern Ghats is not continuous. Here, this Eastern Ghat is divided into many rifts and valleys. This is not continuous. This Eastern Ghat is lower than the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats height is more, whereas the Eastern Ghats height is low. Amarakonda is the highest peak in Eastern Ghats. This is what is the difference between Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats we have discussed. Now the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau. This Deccan Plateau is bounded by Satpur and Vindhyas mountain. The eastern Ghats in the east side and the western Ghats in the west side. In between, here is the Deccan Plateau. This area is Deccan Plateau. This upper is, this is Malwa Plateau. This is Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau. The Mahanadi, the Mahadev and the Maikala ranges are in the north. The Chota Nagpur Plateau lies in the northeastern part of the peninsular plateau. Now, what is the importance of this? This plateau is rich in mineral resources, thick forests and biodiversity. Second importance is it influence on southwest monsoon winds which covered with black soil. This black soil is used for agriculture. This plateau height is more, so that is why here the western Ghats will obstruct these rain bearing winds. This part will get the heaviest rainfall, and here is black soil. This black soil is suitable for the cultivation. Here there are number of rivers get birth which are useful for the generation of hydroelectricity. There are number of waterfalls in this. In peninsular plateau, there are number of waterfalls are there, especially in Deccan Plateau. Here there are number of waterfalls, number of rivers will get birth here. These waterfalls will help to generate hydroelectricity. There are number of hill stations are there. Among those, the famous hill station which will attract the tourist, that is Ooty. This is what we have studied about the peninsular plateau of India. Now we are going to discuss about the coastal plains and islands. Let us study the coastal plains and islands. These coastal plains extend from Gujarat to Kolkata. Gujarat to Kolkata means run of Kutch in Gujarat, from Gujarat to here, from here this is Kutch. Kutch to here up to Kolkata. In this, that is from here to here, this coastline is there. This coastline is exactly during annual exam. If there is a question in annual examination, you should mark this part. This is coastal plain up to here. Here also there are two divisions are there. One is the eastern coastal area, another one is western coastal area. This western coastal area extend from run of Kutch. Run of Kutch, this part is western coastal area. Up to Kanyakumari. Western coastal area. Western coastal plain. This part is western coastal plain. Whenever you are marking the coastline of India, don't mark in one particular place as a point. If you want to mark, if there is a question in annual examination to mark the western coastal area, you should start from here, from Kutch, Ranna, from Kutch, from here to up to Kanyakumari. So this marking is right. If you use only wherever, if there is one point, that is wrong. Let us study the western coastal plain. So in this western coastal plain, how many divisions are there? Which are the important divisions of these all, everything now we are going to discuss. This western coastal area, it lies between the Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. Here is Arabian Sea. Here Western Ghats are there here in this. Between Western Ghats and Arabian Sea, this western coastal area is situated. From Rann to Kanyakumari. This coastal area is divided into three parts. One is from Gujarat to Goa. From here to this area is known as the Konkana coast. This is called the Konkana coast. Konkana coast. This part is called Konkana coast, and from Goa to Mangaluru, that is known as the Karnataka coast. Mangaluru up to here, this is called the Karnataka coast. Karnataka coast. And the third one is the Malabar coast. Malabar coast extends from Mangalore to Kanyakumari. This is Malabar coast. The Malabar coast. Malabar coast. This is what we studied about the three coastal divisions of India. Now, the eastern coastal plain. Once again, this western coastal area is divided into three. One from Kutch to Goa. This coastal area is known as the Konkan coast. From Goa to Mangalore, Karnataka coast. From Mangalore to Kanyakumari, this is Malabar coast. This is what we studied about the western coastal area. Now we are going to discuss about the eastern coastal area. This eastern coastal area extends from the north of Subarnarekha to Kanyakumari. So from Subarnarekha to Kanyakumari, this is eastern coastal plain. Eastern coastal plain. Eastern coastal plain. Eastern coastal plain. This eastern coastal plain lies between Eastern Ghats. Here Eastern Ghats are there. It is between Eastern Ghats and Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal. In between Eastern Ghats and Bay of Bengal, this eastern coastal area is located. Here there are many rivers are there. Rivers, deltas are there. Those rivers like the Mahanadi, Godavari, the Krishna and Kaveri, these are all formed deltas. Now, the division of eastern coastal area, there are two divisions are there. One division is the northern circle, another one is the Coromandel. So here the northern circle and here the Coromandel coast. Here are the two divisions. In southern part of Coromandel coast, there are number of lagoons are there, lakes are there. Among those, three important lakes, Chilka, Pulicat and Konnur. Chilka lake is here, Chilka. Next one is Konnur. Konnur is here. Konnur. And third one is Pulicat. Pulicat is here. Pulicat. exam purpose, these are all important. Why? Because there will be a question in map work. So that is why you need to practice the divisions of these coastal areas, important lakes and places, highest peaks, these all everything you should practice it. Now, what is the importance of these eastern coastal area and western coastal area? This coastal plain provide some natural harbor which help carrying of foreign goods or import and export. Everything is carried through these coastal areas. For example, Konnur, Mumbai, Marmagova, Kochi, Visakhapatnam, Kolkata, these are all important harbors of ports of India. These all are very useful for fishing, shipbuilding, agriculture and manufacture of salt. This is the importance of these coastal areas. Apart from this, these coastal areas will attract the tourist. The backwaters are useful for the navigation. This is what we studied about eastern coastal area and western coastal area. Now we are going to discuss about islands of India. Islands of India. The islands like in the Bay of Bengal and in Arabian Sea, totally 247 islands belonged to India. Islands are there here. These islands belong to India. Those islands are in Arabian Sea and some islands are in Bay of Bengal. Totally, there are 247 islands belonged to India. In the Bay of Bengal, there are 204 islands are, we can see, in Bay of Bengal. And remaining 43 islands are in Arabian Sea. The Andaman and Nicobar are in Bay of Bengal and the Lakshadweep Islands are in Arabian Sea. This Lakshadweep in Arabian Sea, they are formed by corals. This is what we studied about Indian physiography, the physical divisions like the northern mountains, the northern Great Plain, peninsular plateau, the coastal plains and islands of India.